So as you can see, I have included all the points from 0 to 80, and then all the numbers on the y-axis. So remember that we have to highlight all of them.
Same thing.
And then insert. Hopefully it will respond soon. Scatter plot. What are the things that I'm looking for on the graph? Label the axis, right? And a chart title. So these are very important things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the equation, right? So this is what it should look like. Is that what you guys have?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how do I add labels on my axis?
We go to the plus.
The plus.
And we have the axis title.
Axis title. So on the y-axis, what am I going to write? Populations in million. Right? Because if you don't write in millions, then I would think that the population is 0.5 people. On the axis, on the x-axis, I'm gonna write
years.
Since what?
1921.
You have to do that because otherwise I would think it's year 0, which doesn't make sense. And the chart title, I have to put BC population. In million. Oh, I can't write. Since 1921. And this is how my graph should look like. Now, the question is asking me that I have to do a regression line that is exponential. Eyes on the board, please, everyone. Remember that I have to press on the point so I can highlight it. Right click. I'm gonna go back. So press on the point, right click. Add trend line. Now when I'm adding the trend line, I have to pick the exponential trend line. You see the first one? Then display equation on the chart and display the R squared. Now, this is the equation that I was given by Excel. I want you to take a look at it for a second and tell me what is different about this equation. What do you see different about this equation? Does it look like the one we usually write?
Yeah, there is before. There is E and exponent.
Yeah, do we write usually E? Do we usually write E, or do we just write a number to the power of X? I can't make it bigger here. Let's see.
B exponent.
You see this? Do you see this? Right here, e to the power of 0.0268x. We don't usually write this. So to change it from e to the power of this, we have to actually use our calculator. There is an E button on our calculator. Find it, please. Press that button and make it to the power of 0.0268. So find your E button.
I have 2.
You have 2? Something's not right.
Exponent.
It's not the EXP. There's an
this
E
one.
button,
EXP.
not the EXP.
I just have the.
I don't
I have
have.
only EXP.
Yeah, that's what I have.
because she did not use exponential. Remember what I said? I said press exponential. Does anyone have this calculator that I can look at? It's the same one? No,
The same?
no. Okay, it's. Oh, it's right here. I found it. Okay. You see this? This is what you're looking.
This one?
You don't have the same calculator. You see this one?
Oh, exponential.
Okay, I should find the E. Yeah. It should be find ln. Find ln is on top of ln.
When this one take control, this one.
So it's second ln.
I press it first.
Oh, and this one, right?
So, yeah.
Okay, which
Shift.
one is it?
Trend line.
Second. Oh.
Trend line.
Okay. Then put 0.0268. You should be getting the answer. Do you get it?
Hold on.
Okay.
And then
You got it?
Display.
Yep.
and this
You
is-
got it,
Oh,
Jermaine?
that's
two, yeah.
Okay. You got it, Keisha?
And then
All right. So if you do e to the power of the answer, this is the actual base that you should have. So when I did e to the power of 0.0268, I got 1.027, right? Something like that. So this is the answer that you should be writing. I do not want to see this on your assignment. Okay?
So I
You
put
can leave it in the graph, but when you come to
0.-
write it as an answer, you have to write the one something.
So I got 2.6, right? 2.7?
And 1.0. I'll come and check yours.
What we can call it.
So the equation is y equals. You guys have to see me here. What did you guys get? 0.52. 522.
525.
Okay.
Oh,
And
I
then
do it simple.
1.027
0.27.
to the power of x.
X.
Okay? So, the equation that we have seen is this. E to the power of, what was the e to the power of?
I'm sorry,
I can't read it on my.
why we have y 0.5? But I have 1, 3.
What?
I have 0, 2.
Did you put X there?
Yeah, I put everything.
0.0268.
This is hard. No, not it.
Okay, so what we did here, we took this, we put it on the calculator, right? We put shift, the ln function, because that's e to the power of that, and then we found that this is equal to 1.027.
0.5.
Are we okay with this?
You got it?
What was your r squared?
0.99.
So the r squared is 0.9923, which is a good fit, right? Because anything that's close to 1, then it's a good fit.
1.6.
Okay, now, what do the values of A and B represent in this situation? So what does the value of A and B represents in this situation? What's A?
0.5.
What does it mean? What does it represent?
B.
Y-intercept?
It's
No, I
grow,
didn't-
how it's growing, because it's grow, no?
No.
We're talking about A,
Yeah. How it.
and I'm telling, I know A is 0.5252, and I know it's the y-intercept, but what
Vertical
doesn't
intercept.
represent?
Vertical
Initial
intercept.
value.
Vertical intercept?
Initial what?
initial population.
Thank you.
Millions.
When the question is a specific question, where it's a scenario, right? It gave you that it's a population of BC in 1921. Your answer should be specific. So of about how much? I think it's 500. Uh,
525.
So it's about 525,200 in 1921, right? If you multiply this by a million, by 1 and 6 zeros, you're gonna get this answer. Now, before you answer, think about what answer you're gonna give me. What does B represent? Because I want you to use a proper terminology.
Excuse me, do you multiply this initial with this one, you got this number?
If you multiply this by a million, you're gonna get this number.
Why million?
Why a million?
Why?
Can you answer that question for me?
Because they give you a million?
Yeah.
They give you a million? Yeah.
Now, what does B represent? Growth rate or growth factor? Growth factor. So my growth factor is 1.027. What does that mean? How would I find my growth rate?
Okay.
E.
First one
Plus
minus
E.
1. B minus 1.
B minus 1.
And then multiply by 100.
Yeah. So B is the growth factor. So the population grew at the rate of, now to find the rate I have to subtract 1 from my B, because remember that B is 1 plus the rate. If I multiply it by 100, I'll get 2.7%. So that means my population is growing at a rate of 2.7% per year. Now, if I want to estimate the population of British Columbia in 1985, what do I have to do?
We have y, we have a, and if x, we can pay x, we put maybe the year is 65, you say 65.
85.
85. 85 is between 60 and 70, right?
No, 85 is between 81 and 90. How many years is it from 1921 to 1985?
60. No,
65.
64.
90.
64, yes.
It's 64 years,
Yes.
right? How do you get that?
Exponent 64.
So the exponent is 64. So, listen and look what I'm going to do. So since I'm looking at 1985, I need to see what's the difference between my year 1985 and 1921. Because everything is compared to 1921. So my first step is I need to subtract 1985 from 1921. So I'm gonna get 64 years, right? So x is the number of years since 1921.
Yes.
So all what I have to do is I have to plug in
64 cents.
64 for x and find my solution. Okay? So the population in 1985 and it should make sense if you go back and look in your table of value between the year 1981 and 1991, right? It should be somewhere in between the two. If it's not, that means you've done something wrong. Go back and check your work. So if I go back here, I'm gonna see that between 1981 and 1991, 2.82 to 3.37, so anywhere in between the two would be fine. Okay?